Hey guys, Ash here with another Race Shot Legends Champion Guide. Welcome to the video. Send some love, some positive vibes your way, especially if you need it out there. Today, we have a guide on Romero, old school Sacred Order Epic Champion, who actually received a pretty substantial buff a year or two back. We'll take a look at that and see if this champion has anything to offer us outside of faction war fodder. We'll also try him with his companion champion in Juliana. But first, a few shout outs to you guys. We have Peter Gonzalez. Ash, can you do one on Jamie Lannister? He does look a lot like Jamie Lannister, aka Romero. We have Wandering Grandpa 6871. When your son came on, it was so funny. He does join, not too much on this channel, but once in a while on the main channel. A guy that I personally want is Romero. I just pulled him and Elva from summoning, and I was hyped to finally get some healers. Elva a lot better than Romero. Spoiler alert, but yeah, congratulations. Romero guide from Gilbert as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at this champion, guys. All right, so as I mentioned, Jamie Lannister, aka Romero, is the knight in shining armor. He's got the gold and blonde hair as well. A little stash going on, I think, from the sides, a little bit. I don't know. I can't zoom in any further. Either way, he is the for me kind of one of the quintessential Sacred Order epic champions out there. He really fits all of the aesthetic. He's a defense-based epic. His base defense is not that bad at almost 1300. 18k in the HP, so not super squishy, but not super tanky as well. The in-game reviews on him are actually really kind to this champion, specifically in faction wars where he can absolutely help you. There's no doubt about that. Bring Hope, his A1 ability, attacks one enemy, has a 7.5 continuous heal on the ally with lowest HP for one turn. Now it is the weak version of the continuous heal, and we're booking it only for damage. Not ideal with the books, not ideal being the weak version, but the weak version on the ally who needs it most is actually not too bad for an A1 ability. On Sucker, his A2 ability is a 3-turn cooldown, bases the big version continuous heal on all allies for 2 turns, and then also steals 1 buff from each enemy. It's actually a pretty powerful ability. Continuous heal on an AoE is very, very strong, especially for 2 turns, and stealing a buff from everybody is really nice. On the A3, Divine Benefaction. It's a 4-turn cooldown, places a shield on all allies, 25% of their max HP for 2 turns, increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. So he's bringing himself increased defense. He is a defense-based damage dealer, albeit not much damage coming from this guy, so it's mainly just for survivability on the A3. I don't love it. I don't love the selfish increased defense for a 2-turn duration on a 4-turn or 5-turn cooldown, depending on if it's booked or not. It's not that strong of an ability. If the shield was based on his HP and not allies' HP, that would be a lot better, even with 18k, because we can decide to just stack him up with a bunch of HP, maybe throw him in a shield set, and get more utility overall out of Romero. However, it's not the worst ability in the world. The shield is a shield. Now, his stalwart partner is his companion ability. It's only available when Juliana is on the same team, and it's an AoE ×3 hitter. So all of a sudden, a 3-turn AoE triple hitter. I want to go ahead and take a look at the multipliers on that AoE ability, because it really does not fit with the rest of his kit at all, right? Having an ability like that. He has a 3.7 multiplier on the A1, which actually isn't bad. But again, this is only damage dealing ability except for the triple hitter, which is conditional on Juliana. And that is a 1.4 triple hit. So not bad, right? A 4.32. Yeah, I mean, okay, we can work with it. We can work with it, right? Let's see how hard that hits in today's video. But it's kind of weird. So you'd have to actually build him with crit rate to take advantage of the stalwart partner ability there. So a little odd. But what does he bring to the table? Outside of the Juliana, outside of the AoE, he's bringing a lot of healing, a dependable amount of healing with buff steal, which is really nice, right? It's buff removal, but it's better because he steals the buffs. Does require accuracy. I complained about the books on the A1. At least it goes right to the only thing goes to the cooldown, the only book on the A2, which is really nice, right? A3, not too bad either. Shield strength, 50% is actually pretty significant. It's actually a decent book value there when it comes to the shields. So I built him in a very just generic way, right? I will talk about ways you can build him in 4 pieces. I would experiment with Guardian sets, right? Guardian sets would work nice on Romero because he is bringing his own increased defense. So Shield or Guardian, bolster sets if you want to on a Romero. I feel like maybe in restrictive Centrano's content, you could put him in a bolster if you have it. Shield set can do the trick too because, again, we can scale that HP up and get more utility out of this champion. So he's kind of a tank support champion, and we're going to take full advantage of that. So today's build, 3 ideas on how you can build this champion, all kind of catering to or speaking to different themes that we want to take into consideration when we're building him. First, we want him fast. I mean, he is a healer support, so we want him to go in there and execute those heals and that support, right? So speed is going to be great on this champion. Accuracy, I have a perception set because you could run triple perception. We really want to steal all those buffs, thus we really want accuracy on Romero. Immortal is going to give the HP and a little bit of healing. You could go regen as well on this champion if you wanted to, but, you know, as long as he's staying alive, he brings that increased defense. It's not like he's an ally protection or a provoke champion who's going to be taking a lot of extra damage. So those are some set ideas. I would run Guardian in Immortal if you really want to rock a 4-piece on Romero. Now, Romero is all about the continuous heals, so I think that Nourish is the best blessing for Romero. Increase the value of the heal granted by continuous heals placed by this champion. Each continuous heal placed by this champion also restores the target's destroyed HP. I have him on 5 stars, so I'm going to get a nice 15% boost on those heals, as well as a 15% restoration. That can go all the way to a 30% extra heal value. That's pretty significant. I'd like Nourish no matter what on this champion. If you want to consider another blessing, I guess I would probably maybe Survival Instinct, maybe Emergency Heal. Right? He brings the shields, obviously, so that makes a lot of sense. So Survival Instinct, Nourish, or Emergency Heal would be my blessing considerations. Relics, I mean, you could run the Healing Journal of Necrosis on this champion. Anything with support, anything with HP is going to be a nice consideration as well. I have no a relic, on him today. Stat priorities, we want HP as the main priority. We'll take some defense too. I have defense on the gauntlets. I have HP on the chest piece. I have speed on the boots. I have accuracy on the banner. And I'm going to go with HP on the amulet as well as HP on the ring. All right, guys, that is the build. Let's go ahead and take him into battle here. I have Curse City, double boss. We've got a Bommel and an Ice Golem here. I ran this team. Ooh, I meant to take Torment out, but whatever. Let's leave him in. Who cares, right? So we have a Juliana, a Torment. We have Newt to do some of the heavy lifting in terms of damage on this squad. But I'm running this team to start things out. Kind of mid-game-ish team, I would say. Juliana's in very, very basic perception gear as well. Nothing crazy. Godseeker Neri is in very basic regeneration gear. And then I have Tormund in, I believe, well, Stone Skin in lethal, I want to say. And then Newt just in triple perception, this particular Newt. So anyway, they're going to go in. The whole point of this, though, is to show you that Romero is a solid healer, right? He's going to go in there and support the team. There's really not much in terms of buffs that we can steal in this match, but it is nice. You can also see him paired with a Juliana. You can see that Nourish is proccing all over the place. Again, a great blessing consideration for him. He is stunned right now, but I think, hopefully, fingers crossed, between he and Godseeker and Neri, we can keep this team alive even with these bombs and the death damage between all those bombs. Again, that, can we get back for the heals? Well, I'll take the shield, right? Hey, this is actually a, whoa, uh-oh. I was just about to open my big mouth and say, you know what? This is actually a great little experiment here showing how competent he is at the healing. He's no Vogoth, let's put it that way. I'm going to show you an Ice Golem run with this dude. I do want to see if our man Tormund can just finish off this Ice Golem solo. I mean, so far so good. Tormund, can you make sure this is not a flop? But you saw before he died, at least, right, that Romero does have a lot to offer in terms of all those heals, all those extra, the restoration, Sand Devil situations, progression. He's a progression champion, right? I guess I should probably cut to the, this is going to come down to it here. This is going to come down to it. Ooh, come on, Tormund. Yeah, Yeah, he did it. He did it. So anyway, Godseeker Iniri just blows him out of the water in terms of overall healing there. But a decently capable support champion for the team. Wave content too. He excels in wave content, especially when you're going against like Valkyries or annoying mobs or Helicaths that you can steal those pesky block damage or counterattack buffs, right? So that steal is a nice little thing to have. I'm in Platinum Arena. I don't think I can use... maybe if I just share... maybe if I put him on a team that I know I can go first on. Maybe... How about this team? Let me just throw somebody like really fast in. Like a... You can ignore who I'm throwing in. I'm just basically trying to build a go first team so we can see him steal some buffs or something in the arena, right? He's not an arena champion unless you pull him in the early game and you're using him for progression in that buff steal. That A2 buff steal is pretty annoying and cool. So again, we can use this and we just straight up steal a buff from all enemies, right? Like we're not even targeting an enemy, which is pretty interesting. I guess it's an accuracy check on every single enemy that we could hypothetically steal for, which is very, very fascinating. Anyway, we go in there. Let's go ahead. What is, let me remind, okay, so it's the A2 of Juliana. It's ignoring defense when Romero's on the same team on this 2-time hitter. So let's go in and see if we can kill Kaja. Oh, man. Okay. Let's try that A3 then. Let's try that A3. This is funny. It's like counting on these two to do the damage. Like we've got the most uber supports in the game here. But then these two have to do the damage. All right, here's that stalwart partner. Not doing any damage because I don't have him built with any crit rate right now. We might take the L anyway. Okay, let's try this again on lethal partner. Get in there. Oof. Okay. We'll take it. Hey, if anything else from this battle, you saw that that's actually really cool to steal buffs. I really like that ability. It's fun in the arena. It's like a little mini Gamaran in the arena. By the way, the buff on Romero, in case anybody was curious, was a couple years ago. He used to, on his skill 2, he used to steal a buff, he used to steal a buff from, where's the old version? Steals 1 buff from each enemy instead of stealing 1 buff from a random enemy. So it used to steal 1 buff from a random enemy. They changed it to steal a buff from every enemy, which is really cool. Effect change on the A3. It went from now places an increased defense on this champion for 2 turns. It changed it from a small to a big version of decreased defense. And they brought the cooldown down from 6 to 5 turns. Man, it used to really suck, that A3. Now it just kind of sucks. All right, let's go Ice Golem here as I give you guys on stage 25. We have a Tree Shield, a Juliana. We put them together anyway here. You know what, guys? Real quick, let me throw away my energy, which I absolutely hate. And let's just throw him in just to see what he can do here. Let's throw him in some crit rate at least. Gauntlets here and see if you can put out a little bit of damage. I didn't even show you the Masteries, which I will show you right now. Sorry about that. All right, there we go. We got crit rate on. Here's the Masteries. Sorry for not showing you guys earlier. So we went down, picked up max HP. We want to make sure we picked up Shield Bearer, increased the value of shields this champion cast, if I can speak. Rapid response, merciful aid, lasting gifts are going to be important to extend the durations on the A3 ability because of that longer cooldown. We also went down the offense tree and we ended at War Master for a little bit extra damage against bosses. Let's remove the amulet. And let's go ahead and throw on a crit damage amulet. Do I have any handy here? I do. Okay. All right. So we're rocking a little bit of firepower now. Let's go into stage 25, not waste our energy this time, and hopefully get a little bit of damage out of Romero too. If you do have Juliana, they're certainly not the strongest tandem out there. So hopefully you guys don't mind that I am pairing them together here in this guide in a few of the content that I'm sharing with you guys, or actually all of the content that I'm sharing with you guys. Let me give my final thoughts as we get to the Ice Golem. Actually, screw that. I'll come back to you guys when we get to the Ice Golem and give my final thoughts on this champion. All right, guys, here we go against the Ice Golem. Can this team stay alive? Well, we got Tree Shield, not the best rare reviver in the game, in case we don't. So Romero, what do I think about this dude? Honestly, after his buff, it was a really... Maybe they didn't go too far enough. One could argue that, and I may tend to agree. But it was a really good buff, right? Those steals are really nice to have, especially in wave content. It gives him a little bit extra utility because, he's kind of short in terms of the all-around what he's doing to your team. He's got a shield, and he's got continuous heals. That's what he's got, right? But listen, if you need some survivability, right? If you're in progression in this game, just like this situation, right? This is a very realistic team outside the empowerment, I would say, right? But a pretty realistic team for Ice Golem 25. I've got, a few rares in there, a couple rares, and then I've got some poison, some burn, and then we need more support, right? We have some heals on Tree Shield not, but we have a lot of shield and certainly a lot of survivability that he's bringing to the table. So what is Romero? I give him like a C+ type champion, right? For progression, he can really help you out, but he's not a champion that you're going to be riding hard in the end game. The best you can hope for is, again, what we kind of showed you in Cintranos, maybe a Doom Tower secret room or two that you can utilize him in as well. He's not going to be a guy that you're going to be, he's going to be spending some time in the vault, right, when you get to the end game. I haven't personally used him in years before this, but you can have some fun, especially if you do combo him with a Juliana. He and Juliana can handle Clan Boss, early stage Demon Lord Clan Boss, as a really nice tandem as well. Romero to keep your team alive, and Juliana to do those poison damage or dish out those poisons on her A2 abilities. So far, this team is actually doing a really solid job. I'm very curious to see where his damage is, right? Or what his damage is. That A1 hit for 47k wasn't that bad. He's certainly going to pale in comparison to Dark Elhain, who just went down, and Bellower. But unlike Bellower and Dark Elhain, my man's going to stay alive, right? Hopefully, I don't want to speak too soon. All right, we have a match here at the end. Stalwart partner, triple hitter, didn't hit very hard, but when you add it up, I don't know, 15, 20k maybe? All right. It is a 3-turn cooldown, which is pretty cool. When you have him and Juliana on the same team, he gets back to it fairly quickly, right? I'm very curious what he does here, damage-wise and healing-wise, right? I almost think that A4, yikes. When he does the big wind-up, I always get scared, man. I always get very intimidated by Colossus, or however you say his name. But either way, we should be good, I think, at this point. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have that triple hitter, right? I wish he just always had it. All right, so what did he do? 1.7 million damage, about half of a Dark Elhain, and that's being kind. A little bit less than a Bellower. Honestly, not too bad. 1.7 million in the heals, which is more than Tree Shield not as well. So I think this is, like I said earlier, this is a beautiful scenario illustrating how you would use a Romero. Granted, again, I have him +4 empowered. I can't do anything about that. Probably benefited quite a bit from those extra stats at least, right? But keep in mind, what he's doing, at least the healing, that's not going to be benefited by the stats. It's all based on your allies anyway. So overall, like I said, C+ type champion, maybe B- if this is what you need. I would take him to level 50, use him in Faction Wars, use him for progression. If you find yourself leaning more and more and more on him to provide what he did in today's video, hey, go ahead and maybe consider taking him to 60, but I would say he's not a must 60, must 6-star for really any player out there unless you find yourself in that situation. Thank you for watching till the end of the video, guys. Keep the champion guide requests coming in the comments below. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.